My father was a real bastard. He used to put cigars out on my arm, sadistic fuck. And he was a pervert, just like you. I killed him when I was 9 years old.
Who are you?
We are talking about the stark and ruthless Dutch Western Brimstone. This one is directed and written by Martin Koolhoven. And I have to give a shout out to Eastwood for Life fan, aka Carlos, who actually sent me this movie to review because he thought I would enjoy it. It's a movie that I'd not really heard anything about previously. And as I mentioned, it's actually a Dutch movie, although it is mostly spoken in English language and actually has English-speaking actors in it, but it's a Dutch produced film ultimately. And what we have, obviously, a Western, and it focuses on this young woman who is actually played by two different actresses through different time frames. And it is essentially the story of her life as she is having a very, very hard life, mainly due to this reverend, this kind of like this man of God who has taken things maybe too literally and is making her life very, very difficult. The movie is actually split up into 4 chapters and is not told in a linear fashion. So chapters 1 and 4 are more kind of like the more modern era, if you like, whilst 2 and 3 are actually older. They're kind of like prequels, so to speak. So the movie's kind of told out of order, and it does so because it has certain reveals in regards to backstory with characters involved within the film. Now, I'm not going to tell you what they are. Suffice it to say, I think this movie works because of it. Because certain things are revealed, you know, we're introduced to new characters as the kind of the film goes on. And you've actually got quite a lot of recognisable faces in this movie. Dakota Fanning, Guy Pearce, you've got some Game of Thrones alum in here in the form of John, the guy who played Jon Snow, Kit Harington, and Clarice Van Houten, who played the Melisandre. And actually, they're actually both in the same chapter. So let's talk about what works first of all. So this, if you like your films depressing, if you like your films dark and very, very kind of like downbeat, this is the movie to you. It is essentially like getting kicked in the nuts for 2.5 hours straight. That's not to say that it's a bad film. This is a very, very well crafted film, but it is so. It doesn't let up, this film. I mean, the character of this, the Dakota Fanning and the younger actress plays as well, has such a bad life, and it's just one thing after another. And as the way the film is told, you realise how things might seem bad, but they're actually worse when you realise the certain relationships that people have that maybe you didn't know about. So I would have to say it's a very well told movie, very well directed, and apparently this movie did have some kind of financial problems. It nearly kind of went bankrupt when investors pulled out. So it was a real labour of love for the director, who worked on this for around 7 years apparently, and was actually the movie that introduced Guy Pearce and Clarice Van Houten as a real couple in real life. They have now a baby together, and it was this movie where they met. I think the performances are excellent. Everyone in their roles here does an excellent performance. Dakota Fanning was apparently quite a late addition. She actually replaced another actress who kind of dropped out at the last minute, but she does an excellent job here, and she doesn't speak through much of the film, and the reasons for that I'm not going to tell you, but suffice it to say she does an excellent job in portraying kind of emotion through both sign language and just kind of like a performance, through acting performance really. And there's the deaths in this movie are very brutal, very sudden. They're not glamorized. You know, you see the damage like a bullet can do, for example, and it really shows you the depth and depravity that the human a human can do to another human, and also the way people manipulate things. So how religion is kind of like warped to suit someone's own personal agenda and get what they want, but they'll sell it to themselves almost, because it's, you know, they'll perceive certain kind of religious texts in a certain way to essentially back up what they're going to do. Really, really, really kind of gruesome stuff. Do I have any critiques? Maybe two. First one, it's a little long. The movie's around, I think, 2.5 hours long. I felt it was like, it could have been just, you know, maybe trimmed by about, it still needed to be a relatively long film, I suppose, but I don't know if it needed to be quite as long. And the only other thing I would say that maybe is more of a legit criticism for me, in script-wise, I feel that the characters' lives could have been better had they communicated a little better. Now, again, I don't want to give away spoilers here, but to me, there are certain, and this is Dakota Fanning's character, also played by this other actress. If she had communicated, and there's not even just one, there's a couple of occasions here, if she had communicated certain things to certain people, I feel her life would have been a lot easier, and there's no real reason why she doesn't. It's just, I feel, they wanted to have the script to go in a certain direction and certain things to happen. So things aren't mentioned for no other reason than I feel that the script wants to go to a certain place. That's my only real issue with the script. Now, interestingly, you can almost look at this as a somewhat supernatural film. Again, it's very subtle, but there is something that happens within the movie, and then the later characterization of someone hints towards a possible supernatural involvement, shall we say. But I'm not going to kind of, again, tell you what it is. But it's one of those things where you can maybe see it's trying to be supernatural, or you can put it down to it's not. It's kind of one of these things that leaves it up to you. But as I say, this movie is definitely not going to be for everyone. It's not your typical Western. There's no hero's journey here. It is an assault on the senses that is very stark and very relentless. The whole movie is one bad thing happening after another with very little, you know, kind of like moments of levity or kind of hope within the film. You get the odd flicker here and there where you think things are going to start to kind of like maybe look up, or a character is introduced that may seem like they're a bit more altruistic, but then obviously, you know, things probably will take a turn for the worse for the most part. But for a well-crafted movie, it's extremely well done and very, very well acted. I'll give it a 7 out of 10, because I do feel that the script did take a couple of easy choices to kind of make the movie seem a little bit more, you know, go in a certain direction where I feel it didn't make sense that a character wouldn't kind of communicate certain things to me. Anyway, 7 out of 10. Have you seen it? Let me know if you have seen it. And again, a big thank you to Carlos for sending this to me over to review. I enjoyed it a lot. A very, very good movie it was indeed. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.